International socialists are targeting South Africa as the next place to push their global agenda. Here's what's happening. A few days ago, a prominent international politician arrived in South Africa to attend the Think Socialism festival in Johannesburg. And while the festival received very little media coverage, it actually could have some dire implications for the future of South Africa. But before we get into the story, could I please remind you to subscribe to the channel? It's entirely free, and all you have to do is click on the subscribe button below this video. For some additional perks, consider becoming a channel member. All you've got to do is click on the join button below. Now let's get started. So the politician I'm speaking about is the British MP Zara Sultana. So here on her Instagram account, she wrote, "This time last week, I was in Johannesburg for the Think Socialism Festival, alongside comrades from South Africa and beyond. Capitalism, imperialism, and the ecological crisis are global struggles. Our fight back has to be international too." So here we see a few photos from the event itself. So Zara is the lady in the red suit who's giving the speech over here. Couple of more photos, and FYI, this event took place at the University of Johannesburg. Little surprise there, because we do know that a lot of the time socialism and movements like that are quite popular on university campuses. All right, so here we see her taking a bit of a tour around the country. There always seems to be this weird Palestine-Israel narrative at socialist events. I don't know why. One would assume that these people would be more focused on actually fixing their own problems. And yeah, here again, we see them all holding their watermelons. Again, South Africa, the UK, many places have many of their own problems. I don't know why they're not just focused on those. And yeah, that's the final photo. So before jumping into why Sultana's visit to South Africa is so important, here's just a bit of a background on what the festival was about. So this Think Socialism Festival was organized by the Zabalaza for Socialism organization, and it took place from the 12th to the 15th of December at the UJ Hockey Club. So here it explains that the Zabalaza for Socialism Amandla magazine and the Community Adult and Workers Education Center will host the Socialist Festival in Johannesburg. We view this as an energizing space to confront the crises shaking our country and the wider world, and to debate strategies for a democratic socialist alternative. Think Socialism 2025 aims to underline the continuing relevance of a revolutionary internationalist Marxist perspective for understanding today's class struggles. Now already you can hear how this has a very communist sort of ideology. You know, there always seems to be this narrative being pushed by socialists that somehow socialism does not equate to communism. But in reality, what we see is that it's really just a sugar-coated version of communism. International Marxist perspective, as they call it, and the class struggle are basic pages out of the communist playbook back in Soviet Russia. So yeah, it basically is just straight up communism. So at a time when it seems easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism, the festival will challenge this fatalism, explore concrete anti-capitalist alternatives activists are organizing around. So now we see that, again, this is a very much a sort of communist movement that's taking place. And while they haven't spoken about actually being a political organization, one cannot imagine that they are simply operating as a means of spreading awareness. There has to be some kind of an end goal here, right? Especially when you have a British MP in town. So now that we understand what this festival was about, here is why you should care that Sultana decided to make an appearance. Here we have Zara Sultana's profile on the official UK Parliament website. And as it explains here, she is currently a Member of Parliament representing Coventry South. And her current term has been from the 4th of July 2024 until the present. However, this isn't the first time that she's been in Parliament. She actually successfully retained this position after initially being appointed on the 12th of December 2019, and that term ended on the 30th of May 2024. Now, she was initially a Labour Party MP, but she actually became independent on the 23rd of July 2024. Now, this is quite important because she is now a member of a new party. But before we discuss that important development, there's something else you should know. So earlier this year, Sultana stepped down as the chair of the Socialist campaign group of MPs. Now, this group is actually a caucus of Labour Party politicians within the British Parliament, and this caucus generally looks to push far left, progressive and socialist agendas within Parliament. And so one could pretty much think of them as the British version of the Progressive Caucus in South Africa. So really your sort of EFF, MK kind of politicians. Now, this is quite important because Sultana may have initially been a low-level activist when she started out in politics, but she became the head of this entire caucus for the Labour Party. But now that she's left the Labour Party, her prominence has only continued to rise. At the end of October of this year, Sultana decided to speak out about a new political party that she had formed. So, Zara Sultana has said her new left-wing political party, founded with Jeremy Corbyn, is aiming at running the government despite high-profile splits emerging in the movement. So important to note is that she, together with Jeremy Corbyn, co-founded the party. And for those who might not know, Corbyn used to be the leader of the Labour Party before the current British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. So he obviously was a very prominent politician. Now, he was actually the leader for over 4 years, and he's arguably the most left-wing Labour leader within the UK's history. The Coventry South MP left the Labour Party in July to form a new group and operating under the temporary name Your Party, which she said was a 40-year project and not a protest. Her comments follow a difficult start for the party, which has attracted hundreds of thousands of sign-ups, but has been dominated by rows over leadership, finances, and even its name. Speaking to BBC's Political Thinking with Nick Robinson, the MP said she wanted to change people's lives for the better, which requires winning state power. The new movement will be socialist, democratic, and member-led, Sultana told the BBC. And if elected, it would focus on nationalising, building council homes, providing people with good, secure jobs. She added, I'm in politics because of a desire to change people's lives for the better, and that means winning state power. That means actually running government. We are building a party of the left that can win power and deliver justice. She added, this is a 10, 20, 30-year project. So important to note here is that both Sultana and Corbyn are really the most powerful figures in this party. And while one would typically expect Corbyn to be the leader because of his experience, we know that the left love ticking boxes. And so it actually makes sense for Sultana to perhaps become the leader because of being a young woman of color. After all, that is viewed as a very appealing sort of identity for a lot of leftists these days. But what's really important to note is that while there isn't a very big chance of this, there is actually an outside chance that she could become the UK Prime Minister. After all, we've already seen how the Conservative Party is being cannibalized by the Reform Party. And basically the Reform is outpacing Conservative Party in terms of support due to a lot of people being disenfranchised and pretty much losing their patience with the Conservatives. On the left, we see a similar issue whereby there's a lot of disapproval around Keir Starmer's leadership. And so many of the left-wing members of Labour could be looking at your party as a possible alternative. And so what we could end up seeing here is a complete shift in UK politics, whereby the two traditional major parties, the Conservatives and Labour, fall away, with Reform and your party going head-to-head in order to win the next election. And so Sultana could be playing a crucial role in the trajectory of the UK's politics. But what's also important to note, of course, is why she may have been in South Africa in the first place. We know that she couldn't have trekked halfway across the world and spent money on flights, accommodation, and food for a simple get-together without any other end goal being part of the equation. Clearly, there is some kind of a push from Sultana and her ilk to promote socialism within South Africa and basically tackle it from a different perspective. Seeing as so many people are becoming disenfranchised with the ANC and looking for new homes, and we've seen the decline of the EFF and the MK party, perhaps Sultana and the Think Socialism Festival activists could be plotting their own political move, which could, yet again, shake up South African politics. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more content. Also, consider becoming a Power Club member for additional perks by clicking the join button below. Until next time, I'm Matthew Cohen, and this is the Power Pod.